This is my review of the Creedence Clearwater Revival album, Mardi Gras. It was released in 1972 and produced by the band. So this would have been the third Creedence album I got after the first two. And the reason kind of behind that was that I was curious to hear it, knowing its reputation. This album has a really negative reputation, definitely the most of any of their albums. And a lot of that is just like the situation of the band around the time. Tom Fogerty had left the band, so reducing them to a trio. And according to, like, there are two different stories. John Fogerty says that the other guys in the band were like, I don't know if they said they were going to quit or what it was, but they were like, you have to let us write and sing our own, or write our own songs for the next album. And Fogerty said, they say that Fogerty told them, if you guys don't contribute to the next album, I'm not gonna do it or whatever, and so you guys have to write and sing your own songs. So one of those two things happened, but the end result was that the other guys get to write and sing on this album. And I think Fogerty only plays like rhythm guitar on their tracks. Like I don't even think he played lead, but I'm not positive on that. So that's a big change. I think the other thing about this album is Fogerty, the stuff that he does contribute to the album, it seems that he's moving in a more like almost country rock type of direction. So I think that some of his songs on this album, like some of his originals, might put people off a little bit because they're in that vein. But I like that kind of stuff, so I like those. I think like overall, this isn't a great album. It's probably not even like a really good album, but I do think it deserves a little bit more credit than what it gets. Maybe it's like do a little bit of a minor reappraisal, because this is just an album that like everybody hates. Like even the band don't like it. It didn't even get a reissue like the other ones. The album starts with "Looking for a Reason," song by John Fogerty, and it sounds like he's talking about the band here. Like it sounds like he's talking about how he's looking for a reason to stay in the band and not leave, which is kind of funny. But it's a slower country-ish type song, so I really like it. I think it's a strong opener. I could see people not being into it though if you're into the latter like CCR stuff. Second track is the first Stu Cook song, "Take It Like a Friend," and this sounds like he was writing this like at Fogerty. And this song for me would be my argument for why I believe like Fogerty's version of the story more than the Stu Cook and Doug Clifford, just because the lyrics of this song really, it kind of like some of the stuff he says in here sounds like he almost kind of gives it away that they wanted this, because he kind of says this stuff like, oh, you've had your time in the spotlight and we're ruining your careful plans, but we hope you take this like a friend, like kind of thing. So it sounds like in this song like he's lyrically kind of giving away that they did want more control and stuff like that. Which whoever made the argument, like I can see both sides of it and stuff, but it's clear what they were doing before this album was working, and it's whatever they're doing here definitely isn't. So yeah, as far as the actual song itself goes, it's not a good song. It's made worse by Stu's vocal. And this, I'm not saying this to like hate on the guys, because I think Stu Cook and Doug Clifford are great. I love them in the band, and I'm not even gonna hate on all the songs they did, but I feel like Stu as a singer probably like shouldn't have been a thing. His voice isn't the best. Sorry if you ever see it. You're a great bass player, but yeah, his voice not the best lead vocalist, and that really sticks out on this song more than the other two. Like the lead vocal in this song, just like they should have done another take or 5 or something. Just like it's off. Really the song, like it's got a kind of a cool bass line. That's about the only thing it's got going for it, and just kind of the lyrics are interesting because of what he's talking about and like the situation of the band and stuff, and it seems to be a very like autobiographical song. But anyway, enough rambling about that. Third track, "Need Someone to Hold," is written by Cook and Clifford, and this one I actually think shows a little bit of promise. It's a little bit better. That's definitely helped by it being sung by Doug Clifford, who doesn't have a bad voice. he's got kind of like the raspy drummer's voice. That I guess I kind of stereotype drummers with, because it seems a lot of drummers have the kind of raspy quality to their voice. But yeah, I like his singing. I think that it's a passable track. It's not like quite up to the level of, you know, Fogerty's normal originals, but they're still early in their songwriting attempts here, so that's understandable. Well, yeah, this one I don't think is that bad. So one really good track, one bad, one okay so far. Fourth track, Tearing Up the Country, another song by Doug Clifford, and it's not great, but it's kind of fun. So like it's not one that I'm gonna like count against the album, but it's one that if I was like, I wouldn't feel bad leaving off or like skipping if I was just doing like kind of a listen for the songs that I like. The fifth track, Someday Never Comes, I was familiar with this going into the album from my greatest hit CD. This was the two tracks on this album that were on that were like the last two tracks, so I kind of came around to it later in my listening. But I've always enjoyed the song. I think it's the best song on here. Just a really great song, really great moment for Fogerty, great vocal. Band's playing on it's great. Huge highlight. Sixth track, What Are You Gonna Do? Another Doug Clifford song, and it's not extremely memorable, but I don't mind it when it's on. I like it. So another song that I don't think is deserving of a whole lot of hate, but not anything spectacular. Seventh track, Sail Away, is actually the Stu Cook song on here that I really like for some reason, and somehow I heard this song way before I ever heard this album, and I've always liked it from the first time I heard it. His vocal, once again, not great, passable on here. Like, it doesn't hurt my enjoyment of the song, but he just doesn't really have the voice I want to hear out of a lead singer. I mean, I think this in the hands of another singer, and it would probably be a really major highlight of this album for me, because it's a catchy song. The eighth track, Hello Mary Lou, cover, sung by Fogerty, and it's really good. Kind of becomes a minor highlight with some of the lesser material on here. The ninth track, Door to Door, is the final Stu Cook song, and it's not as bad as Take It Like a Friend, but not as good as Sail Away, so it's kind of like in between. And same thing with his vocal on here. It's not as bad as his singing on Take It Like a Friend, but not nearly as effective as his performance on Sail Away. Then the 10th and final track, Sweet Hitchhiker, another one I knew from the greatest hits. I wasn't into it a whole lot right away, but it grew on me over time, and now I like it quite a bit. I think it's a strong closing track and a highlight of the album. So yes, Mardi Gras overall, definitely not their strongest album by any means, but I don't think it's quite as bad as what a lot of people say. I think the Fogerty stuff on it's strong throughout, even though he's going for the kind of country rock thing. It's just kind of one of those things, I think, that if you're into that type of music, you'll like what he does here. If you're not, then you won't be so much. And as far as the other guys' material go, like this one song that they wrote together is not too bad. Doug Clifford's songs are just kind of okay, but not too bad. Stu Cook has two pretty bad ones and one that I think is really good. So it's kind of a mixed bag as far as their contributions go. I definitely wouldn't recommend this as the first CCR album to listen to. I definitely say listen to it last. Put it off to last of all their albums if you're going to listen to it and give it a chance. But at the same time, like for me personally, I think I'd rather listen to this than their first album, or maybe even the second. Not because I think it's a better album, but it's a little more interesting to me because of its flaws, and also I think that the highlights of it for me are kind of higher than the high points of those albums, but the low points on it are a lot lower than anything that you would encounter on those. So yeah, that's it. And before I finish this review really quick, I'm going to go ahead and announce what I'm doing after CCR, because I have one more live album to review next week, and then the week after that will be the album rankings. And then after that, I'm going to go back through the Byrds discography and redo that, because I did a couple years ago. I've since taken down all those videos. I don't like any of my early videos, not that I like any of them now, but those ones were really bad. So yeah, taking that down, I'm going to go back through them, all new reviews, and I'm going to do some of the live stuff this time that I didn't do last time. So after this, I'm going to go back through the Byrds discography. So.